most guys that have cared, they don't want to be a toxic male.
No.
And so in response to that, they kind of have backed off and got onto the bench because there was never an intention for them to be toxic. And the only way to not ever be accused of that is to sit on the bench.
Welcome to Jesus in the Upper Left, where we're talking about gospel multiplication in the Pacific Northwest.
Hey, welcome in. Welcome to Jesus in the Upper Left. Again, my name's Tim, and I have a distinct privilege of hosting three new friends here for us today. If you've been listening the last couple of weeks, we've been addressing something that it's both really important and timely, and yet also sensitive, and that's just the idea of manhood and masculinity. And so in the time and culture that we live, that can be a very uncomfortable topic, and yet we believe that it's very necessary to understand who we are, who God's made us to be as men, as we seek to live for Jesus in our time. And so I've asked these three friends to introduce themselves. And so, Steve, you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Steve Barker, and my call sign is Scout. We use call signs at Men's Alliance kind of as a way to belong with one another. And so that's mine. Mine's Scout.
Cool.
My name is Brady Cook. My call sign is Blueprint. And we all go by call signs. And I have the pleasure of knowing these two gentlemen.
And I'm Devin Masak, call sign Mr. Ratchet. And I'm proud of those call signs.
It seems like it, and I'm so curious about the call signs. And like, did you earn that, or did you get to self-title yourself that, or like, how did that work?
No. You earn it. You got to show up 3 times.
Okay.
And once you show up 3 times, you have to get up on a tire, and you have to be able to recite Proverbs 27:17 and know the motto of Men's Alliance. And if you can do those things, then the tribe gets around you and listens to your story and tries to give you kind of an inspiring call sign to live up to.
So so there's so much in that, just what you shared. It's so great. Like, Steve, Scout, Brady, Blueprint, Devin, Mr. Ratchet.
Mr. Ratchet.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Mr. Ratchet. Okay. Oh, I'm so curious. So, these three men are part of a group, a ministry. You said a tribe. I want to hear about that. But Men's Alliance is guys that are following Jesus and have been a part of this thing. So tell us about what Men's Alliance is and kind of where it came from. Who wants to go?
Sure.
Blueprint, you go. Oh,
all right. I'll go. So Men's Alliance originated on the East Coast in West Virginia by a guy named David Goose Mills. Him and a couple of his friends wanted to get together and something a little different than just a regular Bible study, drink coffee and hang out. So he created a tribe of men that get together and help sharpen each other to be better husbands, fathers, and leaders that God designed us to be. So usually you go to three times. Then kind of what Scott was saying, guys in the tribe will get around, get to know you, and then come up with a call sign. Mine's Blueprint because I actually do 3D design, and that's how I ended up with mine with Men's Alliance.
so then can we kind of guess, Devin, do you do something with cars?
No.
Nope.
The furthest thing from that. So I actually am a nurse. And here in the Pacific Northwest, there was a movie. Yeah, there's a movie, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Nurse Ratchet. It was just Ratchet. Okay. It was just Ratchet when I was on the tire. And then Blueprint says, well, we got to give him some respect. We'll call him Mr. Ratchet. And it stuck. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would have got there if you would have said Nurse Ratchet. So I'm glad you're Mr. Ratchet. What about you, Steve? Scout. Where'd that come from?
I think we were the second or third guy when we started. And I found out about Men's Alliance because a wife called me that she had gone to our church for several years and she moved to Virginia, and she called me. She said, Steve, I got to tell you about this thing that's happening. When we moved here, my husband didn't know anybody. He wasn't connected to anybody. He was kind of depressed. And he got involved in this thing called Men's Alliance. And she's raving. She's like, I'm telling you, he talks to guys at church now. He's constantly serving. He's very involved. And so I looked it up while I was talking to her and thought, I'm very, very curious. And so that began the process of starting a tribe in Portland. And that's why they gave me Scout, was I was scouting it out.
Scout it out. You found it. So, the last few weeks we've been talking on Jesus in the Upper Left just about manhood and masculinity, and it came from that. What prompted it was Brilliance Labs. Oshawa Hawthorne leads that, and he's on the podcast often, and he had when organizations were applying for financial grants that Brilliance Labs gives out, so much of it had to do with women and children in need. And to have him describe it, he just said, so we started thinking upstream. And he went into the whole, like, where that analogy comes from, but moving upstream and finding out what's the problem in it. And it's husbands and it's men that aren't healthy and functional, and so it leaves wives or mothers at risk for raising kids who are then reaching out for funds for support. And so we just started talking about this. He was kind of a little just overwhelmed. Like, this is such a huge need in our part of the world here in Portland, and why is that? And so started asking questions about men, and so that's kind of what we've been exploring. And your story as Men's Alliance and what you're experiencing came up. So, we heard a little bit about the history. What can you tell us, each of you, maybe, like, what impact has it had on you personally and as a follower of Jesus?
You want to go, Blueprint?
I'll go.
Nice.
So I'm kind of new to Christianity. I gave my life to Jesus Christ about 2 years ago now.
Awesome.
And when I came to church, I'm just a guy walking into this church and not knowing anybody, right? So I gave my life to Jesus. The first couple months was kind of slow, trying to get to know guys. Like, I've seen Steve Barker on stage, right? But we don't have any communication. Well, I was helping with the food bank at Westside Community Church, and I seen Scout and them out there running around the parking lot at like 7:30 in the morning. And I was taking the trash. They're like, hey, you should come next Saturday. You're already here. Just come an extra hour early. So I did. I was like, all right, I'll go. So I went, and then that's what started the whole thing. Well, since I started that, I started serving in the church, substantially serving in the church. Well, I met guys that have been at the church, say they've been there 10 years. And I've met more people than they have, and they've been there longer than me. So those guys, I was like, hey, why don't you come to Men's Alliance too? And then everybody that we know at the church that serves is in Men's Alliance now. And we've grown so much, and it's helped me connect my faith with Jesus Christ substantially. And it's been an impact for me. And I had a guy tell me the other day, he goes, I wouldn't be as outgoing as I am today without you asking me to come to Men's Alliance.
Dude, way to go. That's awesome.
So, and I'm like, I'm just a guy that just wants to meet other guys and be able to have relationships with people at church. My wife's like, everybody.
That's probably, I mean, honestly, that's a constant challenge of, the story of the church, at least over the last couple of generations, has been women being far more connected, and they're the ones saying that they know everybody, but it's guys finding a hard time to find, like, what you just described as connection.
Oh, watching in the last couple of years, wives go sit in the car and wait for their husbands to be done talking puts such a big smile on my face.
That's hilarious. That's okay. So tell us what when somebody gets invited to Men's Alliance, what do they understand that they're coming to? Or do they? Maybe that's
a workout. They're coming to a workout and a devotion, and it's all by a fire.
There's a fire. Don't forget the fire.
Yeah. So there's in case if you're hearing this for the first time and you're listening to this, when they say fire, they literally mean like an open fire, like a
open
flame,
fire,
like a fire pit. Like it's
yeah.
Okay. That's
tell them about your first fire, Scout.
the first fire that I lit was Portland, and it was raining sideways. It was in October, and it was raining sideways, and I lit it inside a box to get it to stay lit. Yeah. But rain or shine, it is happening outside. That's the motto of Men's Alliance is tribal, rugged, and real. And the rugged part definitely is you're outside no matter what. But what's funny for us is that I swear to you, we have higher attendance if it's raining. Mm-hmm. We have more guys come out because it's nasty outside.
Yeah, you don't want to be the guy that didn't show up just because it was raining. So yeah, I get that. Yeah. Devin, what about you? What's been the impact on your life?
Oh wow. There's been a couple impacts. So I mean, I've been married for 15 years now to my wife, and she's a pastor's kid. So, not growing up in a church, it was hard to lead my wife, religion-wise and church-wise. Her dad was a pastor here in Portland, so like any church we tried to go to, she knew somebody. And so like church was something like, I'll go, but I'm not gonna know anybody. I'm not gonna get attached. I'm an introvert by heart, so I'm happy to be home alone, doing whatever. So I went to Men's Alliance. We didn't go to Westside Church at the time. Started going to Men's Alliance in the middle of winter, like December 3rd or something like that. And started going every Saturday. And then we went to Westside just for Easter service because the time was earlier than the church we were going to. And after that, my wife was like, "You knew like almost every guy here. This is awkward.
Wow.
In our 15 years of marriage, you've never spoke to a man in church. It wasn't like a family member." She's like, "All these guys know you," and it took her off, a little off guard and whatnot. And guys come up, talk to you, looking to you for questions, answers, and so we stayed. We've stayed at that church. We've been there for almost not even a year now. But
oh wow, okay.
But it's allowed me to lead her, as her husband, and not have her take lead in the faith in our family. She loves it. So she's one of the biggest. She's one of the biggest cheerleaders and recruiters for Men's Alliance at the church. So
she is. So tell me what did that when you what not just in knowing other guys, but what changed? What would you say, or what would she say if she was here that changed in you that you started doing that? When you say like you're able to lead her, what did that look like for you?
I think a lot of it's confidence, like confidence in your faith, confidence in in the Bible and your words of God, and being able to say like, as a family, here's the steps we're going to take and how to follow God. And then going to church, like some husbands are like, I'll go to church because the wife wants me to, or the kids want me to go. Yeah. Whereas now you're like, we're going to church. Like I got to go see my guys. I got to get some word in. So I have stuff to talk about around the fire, and help other men I know lead their families as well.
Dude, that's awesome. That's one of the things that men struggle with is exactly what you just described. Like your wife is in some ways ahead of you, and so there's like, how do I lead when I'm stepping into your territory? But now that it's become your territory, that you're there, that you're growing, that you're exercising some kind of practices and regular engagement, and then just relationally, like to be invested. It's not. In some ways, it's so simple, but so it changes so much for you to be able to say that. Like, I have the confidence in my faith, and I know I'm going somewhere, and I know what to say. That's huge. Yeah. Thanks, Steve. What about you? I mean, you kind of found it. You scouted it out, so you found it, and then
it has been. It's been good. I'll say that you asked the original question was like, what has it changed in you? And I don't know that it changed anything right off the bat. For me, it was a good thing to get men out and get around them. The reason why these two guys, I wanted to do this with them was, without getting too deep into some of the training that Men's Alliance does, there is a level of training that is apologetics training, and it's you go away to this apologetics training or to a weekend event, and I had signed up for it, and I'm a relatively private guy. And I didn't want anyone to come with me, because I had a fear that I was going to fail at it, and I didn't want anybody to see that. But I didn't want to be accused of not telling them. So I knew that there was only a day left. I didn't think that many guys would be able to pull it off in a day. And I said, oh yeah, I signed up for Carry the Fire. And I'm going in November. And these two guys were like, okay, no problem. And they signed up within the day. And I will say that while I absolutely regretted saying it in the moment that I was going, because I definitely wanted to go alone, I am so glad that we got to do it together, because it pulled me out of the temptation to just isolate yourself and remove yourself from everybody is really, really high. And I think the world wants us to do that, especially as men. Wants us to be alone so Satan can convince us of all kinds of weird stuff. So having these guys with me and around me that's been a huge change for me.
So it's definitely stretched you in that. Like it's,
oh yeah. Yeah. Uncomfortable. I think it's made me uncomfortable, and that's good. Yeah. I grow if I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's, I know you didn't introduce yourself as this, but they've already outed you that you're a pastor. And so that's like, but that, no, I think that has, that puts context to it. Like you grew, and you're also, at the same time, you're already leading, and you're calling other people to that, and that you can still grow in that too is pretty significant. Like that's
not a real pastor. I'm an executive pastor, so it doesn't count the same.
I think you were on stage a few times.
Yeah.
I will say too, like, since we've all gone and done that apologetics training together in person, like our friendship has blossomed since then. Like, and I could tell you, like, I didn't know a whole lot about Scout before that.
Yeah.
We've had more conversations since November than we had the whole year before.
Yeah.
They're meaningful conversations about how to lead men and, and families and ourselves. So,
okay. So I got another question for you then. What you just mentioned, like, as husbands and as men, and and one of I've got the mission statement for Men's Alliance up here: sharpening men to become the husbands, fathers, and leaders God designed us to be. So here's my question: How has being in relationship and connected to other men helped you to be a better husband to your wife?
I mean, helping lead her spiritually. I date her more than I've done in the last few years. Like every 2 weeks, done dates, try to get that meaningful relationship. And our communication's been different. Like when you're on the same page, you can communicate so much better.
Yes. Yeah.
It's prompted the conversation around. So part of Men's Alliance is we do a devotion, and we take turns. Everybody around the fire is taking turns leading. And so there's always different topics, and it's not like preaching. It's it definitely is, hey, I'm reading this in scripture, and this is what I'm wrestling with kind of thing. And that has created a lot more like weekly rhythm of my son started coming with me when he turned 13. He's allowed to come once he's a 13-year-old boy. He started coming with me. And so for the last couple of years, the drive home, we're always having a conversation about that. And when I get home, I'm making breakfast, and my wife, we will always have a conversation about what the topic was around the fire. So even just that, I know that's done it for me. I think one of the ones that the stories in our tribe that I love is there's a guy, I won't out him by name in case he watches this, but he'd been coming to our church for like 20 years. Okay. And he was leading his first Devo about, I want to say a month ago, maybe a month, 2 months ago. And he's leading his Devo, and he says, you know what, guys, I've been coming to church for a long time. It's the first time in 20 years that I've actually read my Bible. Was in preparation for this devotion.
Whoa.
Okay, so the pastor in me was like, "Oh my gosh, we failed. This is horrible."
That's the first thing I thought.
The tribesman in me was like, "This is because he's never had practice. Why would he ever have had to?"
Yeah,
and he's got practice, and he can, and he did well, and he was having conversations with his wife about the stuff that he was preparing to teach, and I think that's been huge. I think that in particular, not having practice has made it hard for a lot of men to be better husbands, better fathers, right? Because they haven't had a place to have it modeled or practiced it themselves. Even if it's modeled, you got to get some reps in yourself in order to build that confidence.
I learned a phrase, maybe you've heard this in some form or another, but about 10, 12 years ago, I learned this phrase: anything worth doing is worth doing poorly.
Mm.
And that's the idea of, hey, if it's something valuable, practice. I have to practice to be able to do something. And there's something in so many of us men that if I can't do it well, I'm just not even going to do it. And so the Bible is foreign to me, so I'm not even going to touch it. But when you're forced to do it poorly, I'm going to practice. For the first time, I'm going to read my Bible and do a devotion with a bunch of other men. And I don't know how it's going to go. It's probably going to go poorly, but I'm going to get supported and encouraged by a ton of people. And then I'm going to do it again. And then and when it starts to become something that you have a level of competency at that you didn't before. And so that idea of practice, I think, is so vital.
It is one of the things I love about Men's Alliance, though, is that there's always steps and you're making commitments, right? So when you go through and get a call sign, you're not a guest of the tribe anymore. You're a part of the tribe. But with that call sign comes a responsibility to lead a devotion, lead a workout, start a fire, right? So you almost are a positive peer pressured into get out of your comfort zone and do this, even if you've never done it before.
Well, and there's a little bit of, like you said, positive peer pressure, and it's like, I kind of think that Jesus never did that, but with his disciples, he kicked them out of the nest before they were ready. And then what did they do? They went and stumbled and fell, and they came back and we couldn't do any miracles. We prayed, nothing happened. We didn't know what to say. We're no good. Tell us what to do. And he's like, now I got you, and it's that, but it's that, I knew exactly what I was doing. I mean, that's what Jesus was thinking. He's like, I knew what you were going to do. And now you're going to come back and we're going to spend some more time together, and I'm going to send you out again. You'll do a little bit better, or maybe you do amazing, or some of you are going to come back and you'll have done miracles. But it's that we're committed, you're loved, and I'm not going to let you go, and you're going to fall on your face, but we're going to keep moving forward. And
the look on the terror on their face when he said, "All right, I'm sending you out." Like, wait, what? You're what?
Yeah. So, here I got maybe an uncomfortable question. Maybe we'll see. But so if you're listening and you're not watching this episode, these three men have logos on. Two of them have shirts. Two of them have hats, and one of those means that they have both the shirt and the hat on. And so, and then before we started recording, we had was it a sledgehammer? What was that?
Yeah, we have a sledgehammer.
Okay. And they're talking about buying gear or merch or something that's MMA related. So here's where I'm going with this question: is that there are, and we've mentioned tribe at call sign and workout and burning fire going on and outside. And so there's a lot that could be in our time and culture, and certainly in Portland, not the Northwest in general, but certain, you get out in rural, that's all fine, right? That's the language, that's the water everybody swims in. But in a city, especially Portland specifically, a lot of that can get associated with kind of this term in our culture right now of toxic masculinity. And so, and obviously, as you're telling your stories and what God's done in your life through these relationships and through this this tribe. It's been so good for you and for your wives and for your families, but how would you respond to somebody that kind of sees that on the outside without knowing anything and kind of makes some assumptions, or let's say some cultural assumptions of, oh, that's like, you got, I mean, it looks like, yeah, you got sledgehammer or axes on your logos there. And, it's like black t-shirts, black hats, like you see where I'm going with this, right? Like,
yeah.
So how do you respond to that? Or how would you respond to that if somebody said that? Like,
I think that the thing that they're fearing is that it is about power and maybe even stoicism. Like, I don't have to just suck it up, man up, and be powerful. And I would say that, and I haven't experienced, there's times that I wish that it was more of that. I invited a friend of mine to come out to work out with us once. And the week that he came, one guy bawled his eyes out. And I was like, man, not on the week that I invited a cop. Like, but so it's very much the opposite of that. I would say that there's parts of it when we're working out. There are parts where we're encouraging each other to keep going, push harder, right? Have I had a guy that was doing push-ups next to me tell me to either take off my vest or stop complaining? Yeah. Yeah. But that made me go, oh man, I love this tribe that a guy would say that to me. I love this. So there's doing something hard together. I don't think there's anything toxic about that. Right. I think that pushing each other to go a little farther, be uncomfortable, is good. I think, and being around the fire, I joke about it being too emotional sometimes. The conversation around the fire really is real. And these guys are building friendships that are not about telling each other, just suck it up. They're dealing with some real uncomfortable things in our lives and the lives of the other men around the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, for me, like, I've been hugged by more men since going to Men's Alliance than my entire life. Like, you show up at the fire's going, they're like, brothers don't shake, brothers hug. So we're hugging with each other. We're having those real world devotions where a guy's struggling for real and then it gets emotional. And then if you're struggling with it, and usually another guy at the fire is struggling with the same issue. So, and there's not that mentality after the workout, like we all just suck it up because we're men.
Yeah.
It's a real conversation.
Yeah.
And the harder the workout, the better the devotion every time.
That's fine.
Every time.
Yeah.
Though the challenge still is, like, I don't think there's many men when they're dealing with something hard that there's not another man going, okay, we gotta deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not just a pat on the back. Yeah, it sucks to be you kind of thing. There's growth and progress involved in it.
There's always someone there willing to step up to help another brother that is maybe struggling. It's part of our creed that we're part of a tribe, but we don't struggle alone.
Yeah.
So every man I know around that fire is always constantly saying that to another brother. And some guys struggle with some things that are real tough situations, and we can walk alongside them. And that's sometimes the best thing we can do. We can't take their pain or hold their guilt, but we can still support them by just being there for them. And some of the guys struggle with stuff, and they say it a lot, and it's understandable. We can't fix those things, but we keep asking them to show up. Just show up regardless. Sometimes, like, physical people are not so physical. Some people can't do all the workouts. That's totally fine. One of the rules is modify. Just show up. We had this last Saturday. I haven't been to a Saturday workout in a couple months, but I've seen 3 guys that got some physical issues and they can't work out. They're standing around the fire, holding the creed. And I'm like, that's what Men's Alliance is about. If you're just here to be part of the group, be there for the Devo, and then stand around the fire with the creed in hand. Mm-hmm. That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I feel that they're there, and like I did say, like, I can't hear you. They did have the creed. I'm like, I can't hear you, but that's just messing with them. I love it. And I tell guys all the time, like, hey, if you can't make it on time, that's all right. At least make it for the devotion, because that's probably the most important part of the night is people sharing and getting things off their chest that they need to.
Mm-hmm. Which is exact opposite of what the maybe the critique or the accusation is from our culture is like, that's, if you a show of strength or something could be threatening or unsafe, and what you're describing is the exact opposite of that.
I think, though, most guys that have cared, like, they don't want to be that. They don't want to be a toxic male.
No.
And so in response to that, they kind of have backed off and kind of got onto the bench, because there was never an intention for them to be toxic, and the only way to not ever be accused of that is to sit on the bench. And I think that one of the things that we do at Men's Alliance at the very end is we say our creed together, and part of it is a reminder to get off the bench. Like, it wasn't, the whole point wasn't coming to this workout. The point was coming to this workout and getting involved in your community and getting involved in your family and getting involved in your marriage. We're leaving Men's Alliance to go do that, and not to retreat. Because if we retreat, then we're by ourselves, and that, I think that's then we die. We die if we're by ourselves.
So that's a great image. Like, we leave to go out, to go to.
Mm-hmm.
What has that? And I've heard you mention marriage and family. Like, what about, like, the sense of being sent out just as a disciple of Jesus, just as a missionary for Jesus? What is that? How has that been impacted by your experience in Men's Alliance?
I'd say it's the apologetics training is the piece that
It's a big part.
has been a big part of that. Men's Alliance is really great at going, okay, you did that, there's another level now, go do this new level.
Good.
Oh, you've done that? Okay, we'll tell you there's another level. And so the apologetics training is that. Okay. But it really is about understanding your faith and being able to respond in confidence about what you believe, in a way that I don't know that I've ever been a part of anything that developed that kind of confidence in you as a Christ follower.
Yeah. Well, and even, like, we have all, like, the hats, the shirts, the gear, as you put it.
Yeah.
Like, you wear that on public, 9 times out of 10, someone's going to ask you about it.
Okay. Nice.
And then you're boldly stating your faith, and then you're talking about the group. And the apologetics training helps with that, because, as someone who starts the group, they may not buy the t-shirt because they don't want to be questioned about it. I don't want to proclaim my faith to a stranger. Now, like, I mean, all three of us, someone will ask us, and usually, like, oh yeah, hold on, let me get you a card, let me tell you all about it. Come check out a fire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shoot, I was at the Portland airport wearing a Men's Alliance shirt, and one of the construction guys said, "Oh, I wonder if he knows Brandon." Uh-huh. And I turned around and I said, "Endo? Yeah, I know Endo."
And we awesome.
and we had a conversation about and that was just backing him up. Like, he's not, you work with him. I can tell you everything that you know about him is true and more.
Yeah. So it was a construction worker that saw a guy with a similar shirt and put it together. Was that it?
He saw that I was wearing something that his coworker had talked about.
Okay.
So he saw it out in the wild and was like, Oh, that's interesting.
Out in the wild. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's very interesting because once you actually get involved in Men's Alliance, like I took a trip to California and I was like, hey, I'm gonna be gone probably 2 weeks from my local tribe. I started a tribe on Wednesdays and I left it in some of my guys' hands. And I'm like, I'm away from my ministry. Let me get online. Jumped online, found the nearest tribe that's closest to me, drove an hour at like 5 in the morning to go meet 5 strangers I've never met before.
Yeah.
Worked out, had a devotion with them, took some photos, got their names and numbers.
Yeah.
And it was the best experience I ever had.
That's awesome.
And I tell all my guys, like, hey, if you're traveling, find a tribe that's the same DNA there that it is back home.
Beautiful.
They're going to be just as friendly. Those guys are just like us. And all they want to do is meet guys like us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, same trip, I was standing in line somewhere and a guy goes, hey, I like your sweater. And I go, really? I'm like, thanks. And it had our creed on the back.
Okay.
So I pull up my phone. I'm like, hey, it's actually Men's Alliance. We help make men into better fathers, husbands, and leaders that God designed us to be. He goes, what do you do? I'm like, we work out for 30 minutes. We do a 30-minute devotions, and then we hang out around a fire. So whatever those 3 things you like, there's something for you.
Yeah.
And he goes, where do I find this? I'm like, pull up your phone. So we looked on his phone, found the website at mensalliance.com. And nothing was around where we were because I was in the middle of nowhere in California. But he goes, I'm from Sacramento. And I'm like, I was actually just at a tribe in Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
So it was a great conversation. He was a young guy, probably in his early 20s.
Yeah.
He was going to school in Santa Barbara, California.
Dude, that's rad.
But just a conversation over a sweater.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that is your, like, in terms of like you said, being out in the wild, but like in terms of being on mission, like that's an easy access point to notice something and to start up a conversation and be able to share. And also, Brady, it's awesome. Did you say that you've been following Jesus for about 2 years?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So dude, to hear that you have your ministry, that's just awesome to hear. I didn't want to miss that. Like you've got your, you know what God's using. One of the ways that God's using you is in that thing that you've started and are leading. That's phenomenal.
Definitely Scouts 100%. Helped with that. Helped push me. No credit over there. But no, he has.
That's all you, bud.
All you.
Yeah. But I did feel called to help other men.
Yeah.
Because my story's a little interesting. Me and my wife, neither of us had faith. And I decided I'm going to church.
Okay.
And then I asked my wife, like, hey, you coming with me? And she goes, yeah, I'll come with you. So, in a way that I'm leading, just kind of like it says that I'm actually leading my family. And my wife has told me several times, like, I can see so much change in you just for what you're doing. And I'm like, thank you. Appreciate it. And I don't know. Sometimes it feels weird to lead. I told them when I started my group, I'm like, I don't know, but it's been amazing.
Yeah.
So like I had a guy the other night was like, he's in recovery and he runs like a recovery group. And he was like, this Men's Alliance has helped me be a better husband and lead at home. Where he goes, I knew how to lead in recovery, but I didn't know how to lead at home.
Dude,
and he's done a devotion. He's led a workout.
Okay.
He's going for a coin. That's the next level after you get your call sign. And I'm super pumped for him. And he's thanked me so many times. I'm like, dude, all I asked you to do was just come hang out at the fire.
Yeah. So one of the things I learned as a young man was I got married pretty young and at 20, I don't know what I was, 23. And one of the guys that was mentoring me at the time said, I'm asking questions like, what does it mean to lead a wife? And, figured out how to be a boyfriend decently, I think. Like she's gonna marry me, so that's a good sign. But like, what does it mean to lead? And one of the things he said was just learning to start a sentence with let's do this. Let's do this. And it was just a simple handle for me to hold on to go, oh, okay, just cause like what you said, I'm going to go to church. Like, let's go. Okay. I'll go with you. Like that is it, it's the bottom line maybe, but it's you're taking the step to lead in some way. And like you said, you just invited a guy, hey, come with me. And then he's impacted and he's affected by it. And that's huge.
Tim, that's great. I'm stealing that for the next Devo that I do. That's great.
I got handed to me. It's not mine. So please take it. No, I've got 3 boys, and it's like, you have to, obviously we all struggle with that as men, right? Like, of how do I lead and not overpower? How do I lead and not abuse in any way? How do I lead and not be ignorant of what somebody else is, how they're experiencing me? And, do I ask and be sensitive and aware of that? And, it's tough. And Steve, you said it, some guys retreat and they go sit on the bench, and it's that what you have described, what the 3 of you have described, that you've experienced in Men's Alliance, is that it takes relationship, it takes connection to be able to be pushed. And so, like, you described doing push-ups and somebody like telling you, take your vest off, or quit complaining. Like, oh, if that was a stranger, I might want to fight you, right? Like, or cuss at you or something. But okay, it's a brother, and I trust them. I've got a connection, a relationship, so I can receive that from them, and I can be challenged by it, and it can be a positive. But outside the context of relationship, it could be abusive, right? So we need that.
Yeah, I want it from guys that want me to win. I want it from them.
Yeah. That you trust, right? Like you. Yeah. No, that's so good.
And to be honest, like, knowing the toxic I was asking my wife about the toxic masculinity thing, and she got amped, going, no, it's not toxic. It is so great to have husbands leading in their families again. Don't stop. She was very animated about, no, this is good. Keep going.
Well, yeah, and almost it would be beautiful to have wives on here and ask them too, and share their experience, because there's and again, this, politically correct, I don't know or much care, but the sense of, like, how God has made us is to lead in some way. Now, the challenge is to find out, what does that actually look like? What does that actually mean?
Yeah.
But we might not get it right if we were just to sit around a fire and try to figure it out on our own. But you ask a wife, like, hey, what do you need? What do you long for? What do you want? Like, that's where we're going to get some answers and go, oh, you actually want this from me. And because I believe, at least, because men have failed so much, women have failed so much, we live in a broken world, that society or culture's perspective on that gets so twisted that it begins to just delete everything, and don't lead, and don't be around, and don't, whatever it is. And so it just gets all gunked up, and it's like, how do we look to Jesus to be to step into how God has created us and who he wants us to be, which is a lifelong journey, right? And it can be very challenging, but this is where we start to see some of that redeemed, of, like, in relationships, and, like you said, men who want me to win, like brothers who want me to win. And then we can start taking little baby steps and risk. And then you hear stories like that, like, oh no, my wife's a big fan of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember Devin's first week that I watched her, because I knew I wondered how she was going to react.
Right. Well, she said, we're just going to go for the 8-week Easter series. And then I remember, like, at the end of 8 weeks on a Saturday morning, Scott's like, so 8 weeks is over. What are you doing? Like, and the guys were like, oh, you're going to come here now. This is great. And now I serve at the church, and, we're all in. So
it's great.
As soon as I seen him, I was like, hey, Mr. Ratchet's here. Hey, go say hi.
But she's the biggest cheerleader for Men's Alliance. Like, she'll sit in service and write on her notes, like, this guy, and draw an arrow to somebody she doesn't recognize. And she'll be MA ? And then she'll come up after service, like, did you talk to that guy? Is he coming?
Oh, she's pushing you to recruit.
Oh, she will point men out in church that she doesn't recognize, or that I haven't, like, introduced her to, or she doesn't know, their name or call sign. She'll be like, does that guy come to your group? I'm like, no. Well, he should. So
that guy's just got a normal name. You got to get him a call sign. Get him in there.
Well, then there was one week, like a month ago, Scott was pastoring, and he sent me a text right before we went on stage too. The guy in the front row needs our tribe.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we did. I invited him the next week. I found him before he slipped out.
Yeah.
So he's got a show.
It's funny because I was serving on Sunday, and one of our guys walks up to me, Oak. He goes, "That guy needs Men's Alliance." I'm like, "I'm serving. Catch him on the way out.
You go get him." Yeah.
And I was sitting there. That guy was sitting in front of me, and I was thinking the same thing before he came and walked up to me. I'm like, that guy right there, that guy that's sitting in church by himself, he needs Men's Alliance.
There you go.
Oak's Oak found Men's Alliance because he was doing security for, there was an event in around the world, Gather 25 last year. Okay. And he was doing the overnight security, and I was doing it on that shift with him. And I knew the fire was starting soon, so I took my flashlight and I was like, "I'm going to go walk the perimeter. You want to come with me?" And he was like, "Oh, that's a nice flashlight. Let's go." So he's looking at my flashlight. We're walking the perimeter, and I walked all the way around to the fire and stopped at the fire. And he started talking to guys, and then all of a sudden, guys are showing up, and the workout starts. And he looks at me and he goes, "You dirty dog! I can't believe that you sucked me into this." and now he's there forever.
Yeah, he's my prayer chief on Wednesday nights. Yep. And he told me when I asked him to be my prayer chief, he goes, "I don't even pray at home." Yeah. And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't even do the praying. I let my wife do it." And I'm like, "Do you pray now?" He goes, "I do pray now." Just because I made him a prayer chief. And he led so many devotionals now. It's remarkable. And I'm like, dude, this guy is so out his comfort zone. It's amazing. I'm like, I could just see the light shining through him so much.
That's awesome. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly. There you go. Started doing it. Now he's doing it. That's awesome. So one of the things that we've reviewed the last couple of weeks on this podcast is a woman named Nancy Pearcey has written a book called the Toxic War on Masculinity. And she's a believer. She's following Jesus, and she's a great author. But she describes the difference between like the world's view of the real man, and that's where you get caught up in some of the things that the world views as toxic masculinity, like which could be black shirts with logos on it, right? Like, and then the good man. So the real man and the good man, and describes like this is who God's called us to be, and so it's just such a blessing to hear how God is using something as in some ways simple, right? Like a workout and a devotion around a fire. Like, good gosh, that's not rocket science, right?
Nope.
But that God's using that, and it's everything that the world wants and longs for and doesn't have. And you're describing how you're experiencing that and how you're being changed by it, which is what we need and what our city needs. And
hungry men were very, very hungry for it. When I first heard of it, I went and asked 4 men. I said, "I don't know if this has legs, but all I know is that you do a Devo, you do a workout all around a fire outside, and if you come 3 times, you get a call sign." And every guy that I asked, that's all I explained. And they were like, "I'm in. When do we start?"
Right. I'm in. Yeah. All they heard was fire and call sign, but that's fine. That's
You're like, "I'm good. I'm good." But we started one tribe, and then we started another because we had so many guys around the fire, and Blueprint took that. And you would think that it just would split what we had. Nope. It keeps growing. There's another guy in the wings that's probably going to start another tribe in the next several weeks here. And we need more of it. There's too many, put it this way, there's too many men in isolation in our church, let alone in our city.
Yes.
That we got to get these guys out of isolation and around a fire and in their Bible and memorizing scripture and praying and having brothers challenge them and sharpen them.
I think we didn't talk about that. Memory verses.
Yeah.
There's layers here. We got.
There's always that. Well, I love that. There's always a next, right? Like
always a next.
Like you said, there's
next.
always which is that is discipleship. Like we didn't invent that, right? Like Jesus came up with that. He's pretty good at that. Yeah. But like there's always, and we're always growing, always the next, and I love that. Will you tell people how to find Men's Alliance.
If they're looking for a tribe, go to men'salliancetribe.com.
Okay.
And you can find a tribe near you. If there's not one near you, you should pray about starting one near you.
Love it.
There's a link right there. Start the tribe in your area.
Tell us where you guys are at too. You're all part of Men's Alliance that is at Westside Church in Aloha.
We all share the same fire pit in Aloha.
Yeah, excellent.
Tim, it sounds like you were made for Men's Alliance.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you got me fired up. This is great. Like, if I did push-ups, I'd have to do it with no vest, though. I do know that, so I'd have to start there. So yeah.
You
modify as needed. You can modify the workout as needed.
Modify. Yeah, I caught that too. That's so good.
Number one rule is don't die.
Don't die and just show up. We just want you to show up at the fire.
Show up and don't die. Show up and don't. Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's great. Yeah. You guys, seriously, inspired by your stories and smiles on your faces, the way that you're loving Jesus and your wives and your families. It's just, and serving in your church and leading. It's what men in our world are looking for. And thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for sharing your story. Just blessed by you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Jesus in the Upper Left. We want to ask you a quick favor. Would you please subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, and share with those that are in your life that might benefit from the content. Hit the notifications button, rate and review, of course, and then head on over to upperleftshow.com where you can find bonus content, opportunities to connect with those around the city that are doing similar work as you, resources to help you, and just a way to connect to the community. We hope to see you again next time.